Welcome back to another episode of My Legacy Garage. Today, we'll work on the old golf cart. You haven't seen this thing in a while, but it's still around. We're going to do some upgrades. I got these fancy new wheels and tires for it, and it's supposed to just bolt on, no lift kit required, and everything's fine. And that's not true. So don't believe everything you read on the internet. It's a good life lesson. Let me show you what we got going on here, and then we'll dig in. As you can see, it looks fine. And AJ, if you'll move the cart a little bit, you can see nothing rubs. Now AJ, if you'd be so kind, sit in the cart. Now, not so much. Everything rubs, especially if you try and turn the front wheels. It's pretty bad. So we're going to need to do something about that, and I have a solution. Here we have the solution. A 4-inch lift kit that I got from Everything Carts. It wasn't super expensive. I believe it's called the Economy Lift Kit because, I'm cheap and I wanted to do it as cheap as possible because tires and wheels, they're not cheap. They're like $500. So we're trying to keep it a little bit of a budget build, but still give us a little bling at camp, right? Anyway, let's get to it. I'm not really sure how this thing goes on, but we're going to tear into it and make it happen. So I did run into a slight little issue, and that is with these old bolts out of the spring shackles. They're shoulder bolts, and they actually make it so you can't squeeze these too close together. And I destroyed the bolts getting them out, which I kind of figured was going to happen. So I came up with a solution, and that is a couple of spacers slid in here. And then a grade 8 bolt to go through it and bolt everything together. Good as new. Well, folks, it's in there. We got both sides done. We got the shock mounted back down. The springs, of course, they move from the bottom of this plate underneath it here, and then they go on top of the lift kit. And there's a bolt head on the other side of this that actually fits in a hole here. And then you just tighten everything down, including the 4 bolts down here on the bottom. Put your shock back on, and away you go. So let's go ahead and get the rear tires on her, sit her down and see what she looks like. We have the front put together here, and we've got this stabilizer on it, which they recommended if you do this economy kit. My guess is because it's a little bit janky the way they extend the tie rods and the shock towers here. So they probably were a little bit scared it wasn't going to drive right. But we've got it all on there. I'm going to get the tires on it and see how she sits. The first thing I notice is we have a little bit of alignment issues here. So we're going to sort that out. Should be as simple as loosening those tie rod end extensions and tweaking them a little bit. But otherwise, it looks pretty good. I think it's time to see how it rides. The test ride was a success with a couple of minor issues. The wheels being towed in is one of them. The other one is the brakes are kind of stuck on. We'll look at that in a minute. But the issue that we're having here is this needs to be able to turn and come all the way over until this side touches, which it's not. And it's because it's touching up here. So what I'm going to do is just grind the corner off of this so that this can go the rest of the way around. And then we should be able to tighten everything back up and have proper alignment on the tires. So I'm going to go ahead and knock that out real quick. I think that'll do us. That's what we need right there. All right, let's go ahead and get it tightened back up again and put the wheel on and see what we've got. I got that adjusted the way it should be, and I've got this one adjusted the way it should be, but they're still towed in, and there's no adjustment in the tie rod ends, which is weird. They just don't seem to adjust. Maybe they're stuck, I'm not sure. But I think the solution there is going to be some adjustable tie rod ends. And I mean, the ends of these things are all blown out anyway. You can't grease them, so it can't hurt to replace them. So that's what we're going to do there. Steering stabilizer here. This is supposed to help with the feeling of drifting in the cart. And I will say that when you're driving it, it does seem to lean a lot harder when you're going around turns. It really rocks back and forth. I don't think it's going to roll over, but it's something worth noting, just in case you were thinking about doing this to your own. Now, let's take a look at this brake situation. This is what's connected to your brake pedal and then to your cables that go back to the brakes. And what's happened here is this cable, it's pulled taut. So it's actually putting pressure right on this cable and keeping the brake pedal pulled a little bit all the time. So we're going to loosen this nut off here and back that pressure off so that the brakes are freed back up again. All right, we've got the brakes adjusted, and now it's not taut anymore. And I just checked it, and you can still set the parking brake and it holds good and firm. So, and this cable isn't like a guitar string anymore. So I think we'll be good. Let's give her a quick little test ride, and then we'll move on to the next phase of the project. We use this golf cart at camp, mostly. And we keep it in this trailer there. We use it sort of like a storage shed and just leave it there for the summer. The issue is with the lift kit, I don't think it's going to fit in here. So we're going to run her up here and see if I'm right and by how much it won't fit, so we can figure out a solution. I'm thinking chop top. Sounds cool. Let's see what we get. It doesn't fit. Looks like it would just barely clear this drip rail here. So we're looking at 4.5 inches we need. Quite a bit. I think we can sort it out though. Let's go see how that happens. The solution that I came up with is this kit right here. It comes from these guys, and it's a little bit pricey, but it looks like it's going to work. It's supposed to be a 5-inch drop. Let's go ahead and chop the top. How about it? Step one, we're going to take the roof off of it so that each one of these supports is individually accessible. All right, AJ, give me a hand. Let's take this off of here. We're just going to go straight up. We're going to carry it over and sit it on the hook of the sheet. As you can see, progress has been made. It's been cut. We drilled it and put these brackets on, which will be the hook up to the top bracket, and then it has a pin that goes here that we have to drill the hole for still. But that'll all go on there after it's all said and done. But it's on there, it's painted. We're gonna go ahead and cut the back and get the angle on that and everything, and get the rear brackets put on and get everything painted so that everything can dry and we can get it all put back together. finished product. I guess it's not really quite finished yet. I still gotta paint it a little bit, but there it is. So we're gonna take her out here and see if it'll drop and go in the trailer. Well, there you have it. Epic golf cart done. It was like 2 solid days worth of work. And mind you, I didn't start till like 10ish or whatever in the morning because it's the weekend. But, you know, it was still a lot of work. It was worth it though. It looks pretty cool. This is how we roll. Bling bling. No, I'm just kidding. But it will make it go a little faster, which will be nice because we were always holding up traffic. And I hope that if somebody else that's doing this kind of thing to this kind of cart watches this, that it makes sense and helps them figure things out. Because the directions that come with that stuff, they're not very good. Not at all. Thanks for watching another episode of My Legacy Garage. We'll see you next time.